Go check your closet right now. Look at those little tins and jars of leather conditioner sitting on the shelf. The ones with the fancy embossed gold logos that you paid 30, 40, maybe even 60 bucks a piece for. Go ahead, count them. Now ask yourself a question that should genuinely make your stomach drop. What if every single one of those purchases was just a stupidity tax? A tax you paid simply because you didn't know a $2 secret. Because honestly, that is exactly what happened. Go. And I'm not talking about some hypothetical person. I'm talking about you. Think about your favorite leather boots, your peeling jacket, that ridiculously expensive couch cushion that is splitting at the seams. Every time the damage crept back just 2 weeks after you meticulously rubbed that overpriced cream into it, you didn't question the product, did you? No, you blamed the leather, you blamed the weather, the dryness, your own negligence, and then you walked right back into the store, handed over another 40 bucks, and bought the exact same jar that just failed you last time. That repurchase, that quiet little moment of defeat at the checkout counter, is worth nearly $5 billion a year to the global shoe care industry. $5 billion, and it's rocketing towards $7.4 billion by 2031. But here's the kicker. Their revenue isn't climbing because their products work, it's climbing because they don't. Your cracked leather is not a problem they are trying to solve. It is the engine that keeps their profits growing at 4.3% every single year. You aren't the customer anymore, my friend. You are the subscription. But here is where it gets downright ugly. The permanent fix, the one that actually seals cracked leather from the inside out and doesn't just magically wash away in a week, has been sitting on the bottom shelf of your local craft store or grocery aisle this entire time. $2, that is the real price of fixing your stuff. Professional cobblers have known about this for over a century. High-end furniture restorers use it every single day. The guys who detail six-figure vintage cars, this is their holy grail. The substance is called carnauba wax. It comes from the leaves of a specific palm tree in northeastern Brazil, and it happens to be the hardest natural wax found anywhere on Earth. Its melting point sits way up between 82 and 86 degrees Celsius, meaning normal summer heat doesn't even make it flinch. At a molecular level, it is intensely hydrophobic. Water literally runs away from it. And when it touches cracked leather, it doesn't just sit on top looking shiny the way your expensive conditioner does. It actively penetrates the fractures, it bonds, it seals the damage from the inside out. This isn't some wild internet speculation. This is basic chemistry. And trust me, the leather care industry has understood this chemistry for decades. They understood it perfectly well when they engineered products designed to fade in 14 days. They understood it while they lined department store shelves with 17 competing brands, each one promising ultimate molecular restoration. Each one priced between $12 and $65, and every single one is built on the exact same dirty principle. Give the customer just enough improvement to justify the price tag, but never ever enough to stop them from coming back. Think about what that means for your wallet over a lifetime. Every pair of boots, every jacket, every bag. Exposed to the exact same cycle. Buy, apply, watch it fail, buy again, exposed to the same silent agreement between manufacturers. Who know the real answer costs $2, and marketing departments whose entire job is to make sure you never figure that out. Let's do the math that nobody in this industry wants you to do. Go grab that $30 jar of leather conditioner right now. According to recent market research from Technavio, waxes make up, at absolute maximum, maybe 20 to 40% of the stuff inside most shoe polishes. So, at best, and I mean absolute ceiling, you're holding about $12 worth of wax and cheap solvent in your hand. The other $18, that's not science. That's the marketing budget used to convince you to pick it up in the first place. Because the packaging whispered sexy words like conditioning serum and infusion. And you trusted it, because why would a massive corporation lie about something as boring as shoe polish? Spoiler alert, because it buys a lot of yachts. It's a multi-billion-dollar a year lie, wrapped around the exact same wax your great-grandfather used to buy for pennies. Let's jump back in time for a second. The year is 1905. A cobbler in Germany named Franz Erdahl builds a shoe polish using exactly 2 ingredients. Carnauba wax and beeswax. That product is still on shelves today. Jump to the 1940s. The U.S. military issues kiwi shoe polish to soldiers fighting in the absolute worst conditions imaginable across Europe and the Pacific. The base formula, carnauba wax, a solvent, and some pigment. Those boots survived mud, monsoons, desert heat, and literal war. Now look at the legendary Italian leather houses in the 60s and 70s, the workshops that became Gucci, Ferragamo, Bottega Veneta. Before their finest calfskin left the factory floor, what do you think they treated it with? Some top secret lab serum? Nope, just carnauba-based wax, nothing exotic, just wax, 3 different decades, 3 different continents, one $2 ingredient, doing all the heavy lifting. Yet somehow, you've been convinced that your scuffed jacket needs a $50 spa treatment that arrives in a box with tissue paper and a thank you note. The mechanics of leather aren't complicated, which is exactly why they never explain them to you. Leather is just dried animal hide. It's a network of collagen fibers that stay flexible only as long as they hold moisture and have surface protection. When leather cracks, those fibers have dried out and snapped along stress lines. Every single expensive restoration product on the market is trying to do just two things: soften the fibers with an emollient and seal the surface with a film. Carnauba wax handles that sealing job better than almost anything on the planet because of that high melting point and insane durability. And if you want the ultimate combination, enter raw beeswax. A block of beeswax, the kind you find next to candle making supplies for about $1.50, acts as a plasticizer when mixed with carnauba. In plain English, the beeswax keeps the hard carnauba flexible instead of drying into a stiff shell that cracks the moment your shoe bends. The blend sets into a waterproof armor that moves with the leather, beeswax for flexibility and deep hydration, carnauba for rock hard protection. That's it. That is the secret formula. The patents expired literally generations ago. The research is public domain. But nobody in the marketing department is ever going to volunteer that information, because the second you figure this out, their premium pricing model completely collapses. I know what you're thinking. If it's this simple, why doesn't everybody just do this? The answer isn't ignorance. It's carefully constructed architecture. North America alone captures over 44% of global shoe care revenue. The US is a massive market specifically designed for dressing up cheap commodity ingredients and proprietary language. The big brands don't spend their money making better formulas. They spend it on retail placement, sponsored influencers, and packaging designed to trigger your wallet. You walk into a shoe store, see that gold-trimmed label, and your brain just accepts that sophisticated packaging equals sophisticated chemistry. But you walk into a craft store, see a plain yellow block of beeswax, and your brain doesn't even connect it to your expensive boots. That disconnect is not an accident. It is a highly protected $5 billion illusion. So how do you actually cross over to the winning side? It takes about 90 seconds, and it's so boring it barely qualifies as a chore. Let's say you have a pair of dress shoes or boots with deep creases running across the toe box like fault lines. The kind of cracks that make you want to throw them away. Instead of spending $60 on a restoration kit online, you do this. Grab that $2 tin of carnauba wax, put a whisper of it, and I mean a thin layer, onto a clean cloth, work it into the leather in small circles. The key word your hands need to remember is thin. You aren't plastering drywall. You are sealing the surface the way a sheet of ice seals a pond. Give it 5 minutes of patience to set up. Then take a clean, dry cloth and just buff it until the leather shines back at you. Got shoes that look like they've completely lost the war, cracks deep enough to catch your fingernail? Add one preliminary step. Take some of that cheap beeswax, warm it up just a little between your fingers until it's soft, and push it directly into those deep gaps, almost like you're pushing grout into tile. Press it in with your fingertip. Let it sit for 10 minutes to rebuild the fibers from the inside. Then put your carnauba wax over the top to lock it all down. Beeswax rebuilds, carnauba seals, $2 of material, maybe $4 if you use both. Boom, done permanently. And trust me, the big brands know the walls are closing in. Look at their bottles from 5 years ago compared to today. They used to lead with their ingredients. Now they just sell you feelings. Restores in seconds, professional grade. They buried the ingredient lists because consumer transparency became a massive threat. The second people realized they were paying a huge markup on palm tree wax. A recent industry report actually flagged this, warning that consumers demanding natural ingredients are disrupting established brands. But the disruption isn't some crazy new tech. The disruption is just you waking up to the truth. So here's your homework. Treat this like a prescription. The very next time a leather bag, couch, or pair of boots in your house shows a sign of drying or cracking, do not open a new Amazon tab. Do not drive to the shoe store. Reach for that tin of carnauba wax. Put a thin pass on a cloth and make small circles for 60 seconds. This isn't about making you a billionaire overnight. It's about stopping a very specific bleed in your life. The bleed where you throw away perfectly good $70 shoes. Because the $30 conditioner makes it feel like it's just not worth the hassle. Stop replacing what can be maintained. Multiply those savings across your boots, jackets, belts, car seats, and furniture over the next 5 or 10 years. And the numbers get big very quickly. They compound quietly in your favor. The exact same way they used to compound against you. You now have permission to walk away. Not from leather, not from quality, but from the cycle. The cycle where an industry tells you that only their expensive science can save your stuff. And you believe it because nobody ever showed you the alternative. That cycle is officially broken the moment you try this once on one item and watch the magic happen yourself.